is cool, but you gotta do like 7 more steps. Okay, so there's that. And I gotta go to Instagram, hit go live here.
I'm trying not to feel silly about talking about it a year and a half later.
No, it's fine. I mean, because everybody's curious about this. Okay, so we're live there. Okay. I think we're live in all the places. Hey, everybody. Happy, what is it, Wednesday? Man, still recovering from Disneyland and World and don't know what day of the week it is. So we're getting ready to record a podcast for Monday. Shout out to everybody tuned in over on Instagram because we're new to all that over there, but glad you are joining us over there as well. We're here with Robin. She's out in Queens, New York, and we're going to talk about her Disney wedding. So come hang with us. If you have comments, put them in the comments there, and we can throw that into the show. If you're tuned in on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch, you just drop them in the comments there. All right, so this will be Monday's show, so we are going to get cracking. Show number 2423. All right, let's do this. Here we go. About 35 or 40 minutes. I always say that we always go long. Hydration is important. Coke Zero is preferred, but you can drink whatever you like.
I need to stay hydrated for the little one.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no kidding. I remember that. Somebody said G-Lo on Instagram said, "Of course, Queens is in New York." Why'd you say that? Because I'm in Missouri. I mean, like I don't know.
Not everyone knows that. You know, it's
I don't.
Not everyone knows it's a borough of New York City. It's every day. You know.
Now that you say that, I mean, say St. Louis. I mean, I guess there's a couple St. Louis's, but who knows? Hey, G-Lo, cut me some slack. I'm in Missouri, and you're smiling at me with your little avatar. I appreciate you, though. Okay, here we go. Let's get down to business. All right, 2423. Welcome to episode 2423 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com. and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Monday to you. Hope you had a great weekend, and thank you so much for dropping in to kick off another great week with us here on the show, and we are excited to be back. Wow, we had a weekend where we weren't at Walt Disney World running 48.6 miles or out of Disneyland running 19.3 miles. This past weekend, boring for me. I mean, you go from like Walt Disney World and all the fun and friends and food down there. And then, well, at least it didn't rain this weekend here in St. Louis, but then you go to Disneyland and I thought it was cold out there last weekend out there getting ready to run the races. And then Mother Nature, you know, when I got off the shuttle bus, the church bus that takes you back to your car, when I got home from Disneyland and it was below zero in St. Louis, Mother Nature laughed in my face, but not having fun like that, you know, having churros. And I'm telling you what, people in Disneyland, they eat churros. I mean, I thought I was the only one without churro in my mouth at one point. And, you know, corn dogs and having all the fun of last weekend at Disneyland. This past weekend, no, just St. Louis and nothing going on because it's January and we don't have a football team. You know, and college football is over. It's boring. So we're going to have fun today. It's Monday, but we're making it worth your while. Valentine's Day is right around the corner. So be ready. We're getting you ready for the romance season right here with a Disney fairy tale wedding story. And to tell that story, Mr. Robin's joining us today. Robin, thanks for coming on the show. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Monday fun day.
Always. I mean, it is. I guess it is what you make it. It could be either way, I guess. But so how are you doing you're out in Queens, and how is the world's most famous city this time of year?
It's cold. It was with the wind chill 5 degrees this morning, and my husband decided not to go for his run because it was just way too cold, and I can't blame him.
That's why God blessed us with treadmills. That's what I say. I use my treadmill year round because I'm a wimp and I do not like dealing with that stuff. So, no, I totally hear you. But thanks for coming on the show. I appreciate it. And I know you have a little one, 5 months old, and it's a sacrifice to take 7 minutes away from anything in life at that point when you have little guys and gals of that age. So I really appreciate you taking the time to share your story with us here on the podcast today.
Well, thanks for having me. This is my downtime. My husband's like, "You're gonna be on a podcast?" And I said, "Yeah, Disney podcast. It's my downtime, like to relax." He said, "Okay." So I'll take Luca. And now He's reading to him.
He said, "You're on the clock." Those days, it's wild and crazy. All right, so we are going to talk about your Disney wedding, which took place just a bit ago, but it's still, again, Valentine's Day coming up here in just a few weeks. So if you have a significant other, you're on the clock, man. I mean, it wasn't 2 days after Christmas that Target was tearing down all the Christmas trees and the stockings and putting out the heart candy and all that stuff. I mean, I think it was actually the day after Christmas at ours. So you got to get thinking about what you're going to get, what you're going to do to keep yourself out of the doghouse in some cases. But we're getting you ready for Valentine's Day with a great Disney wedding story. But before we get to that today, give us some background on your Disney fandom, because, I mean, if you had a Disney wedding, you kind of probably like Disney a little bit. So where did it all start for you?
Just a tad. It started with my mother. According to my aunt, she would watch The Wonderful World of Disney growing up, like every Sunday. And my mom just instilled that love with my sisters and I. She was really a proponent of the messages of having hope and, just always looking for another tomorrow. So I just grew up with it. And my first trip was in high school. It was our junior trip to Disney World. And since then, I've just been hooked.
So when you went to Walt Disney World for that first trip and going back in subsequent trips, what is it about Walt Disney World that keeps you coming back? For me, I'll give you the example. I'm not a movie person. I really don't watch a lot of movies. I'm kind of a sports guy, but I love going to Walt Disney World, and it's the logistical stuff that gets me, that it's almost its own little city, how perfectly manicured everything is, how smoothly the infrastructure runs. They have their own bus system, how they get so many people here and there, and everything runs so smoothly with just tens of thousands of people going here and there every single day, 365. It's amazing to me. But, I think it's different things for every person. So what is it about Walt Disney World for you that really keeps you coming back?
For me, sorry about the feedback. I don't have headphones.
Oh, you're fine. It sounds great.
For me, it's not having to worry about anything. I'm someone who has to plan everything. I'm a teacher, so I have a lesson plan every day, a unit plan. And with Disney, like you plan, but you don't have to have so many contingency plans. They take care of you. There's no real reason to be anxious. So it's just this bubble that you can just have fun in and not worry.
I agree. That is true. Once you hit that bubble, kind of the real world can disappear. You can just, when you're there, you can have fun. It's just what's on my agenda today. Well, it's having fun. It's having a nice meal. It's doing some attractions, maybe seeing an old favorite show, anything like that, but nothing that is serious. It's all about having fun. So give me a few of your favorites at Walt Disney World, maybe a resort, maybe a restaurant, maybe an attraction. What are some of the things that are just your tried and true things at Walt Disney World?
So after our wedding, we were talking, my husband and I said, I love the Grand Floridian. And he just looked down and said, oh no.
My daughter, my youngest Mallory, dude, she has Riviera taste, and I'm a Pop Century guy. So I'm an on that too.
He loves Pop Century. We went from Pop Century to Caribbean Beach at one trip. He's like, why did we leave Pop Century? It was awesome.
I agree. See, your husband, I got to give him a bell. I like him already because he's my kind of guy.
But the Grand Floridian and Rise of the Resistance is one of my favorite attractions. It's just so amazing how you just don't realize you're still on planet Earth.
Right. It is. I have a new relationship with Galaxy's Edge after leaving Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland this past weekend out there for the race. But hey, it's all good. I'll start to like the Millennium Falcon at some point again someday. But the Force was not with me at 5:00 in the morning that day. No, so that's awesome. So now let's get into, when did the plans come together to, like, when you started talking to your husband to be before the wedding, and you decide we're going to have a Disney wedding? Like, how does that come up? Is he a Disney fan as much as you? I mean, because no, I was wondering, because I mean, this is one of those things, like, it could go either way. So how did that first conversation happen with, like, we're not going to the I know you're in New York, right? I'm in Missouri. We live in two different worlds. Like, around here, people get married, typically in like the local church, wherever they grew up. And then the reception many times around here is like at the VFW hall, or like some kind of banquet facility, which is no more than like a fancy VFW hall that's just not owned by the VFW or so, the Knights of Columbus. So what was the conversation like for y'all when you decided that we're going to do this?
So it was even before we were engaged and we talked about marriage. I said it's either my parish that I grew up with or Disney World. And then he proposed on the Disney Fantasy, and we were thinking of maybe having a Disney cruise wedding, but we realized that would be too expensive for people. So we were shopping around New York, and we were thinking about New York Botanical Garden, and Liam's dad, my father-in-law, was very generous and said, I would like to pay for the wedding. So we said, well, why not Disney? Because they pretty much take care of everything. People have to fly in, so we might as well make it a grand experience for people so that they can really cherish the memories that we create with them or that they create themselves while they're on vacation.
Very cool, because you're being practical. Everybody's going to fly into New York, so why not go down to Walt Disney World, where it's going to be probably warmer and it's a vacation destination. People are getting excited to go. I mean, I'd imagine everybody's excited to go to New York. I mean, I'd be excited. To me, that would be a vacation destination too. But I mean, obviously, Walt Disney World's kind of like one of those just iconic places that everybody wants to go to, and it's super romantic with all the locations. So let's get into, because I want to make sure we get all this covered today, because we got a lot, but I want to make sure we hit all this because I know people are curious about this whole experience. What's the pre-planning and how does that work with getting getting the bride, the groom, everybody planned out to where your expectations are clear with what you want out of the ceremony, out of the reception, out of your day? How does that all go before the big day, before you guys even, arrive for the time of the wedding itself?
So at 16 months, you can email Disney Fairy Tale Weddings, and they'll pencil you in to discuss your wedding 12 months from the day you would like to get married. Now on the 12-day mark or the 12-month mark, they will let you know if the venues you chose are available, and that's when the ball starts rolling. You talk with the consultant after you sign a letter of agreement with what you want and it's like a contract. Then they pair you up with a planner, and the planner will email you, and you'll start a back and forth. They're not going to email you every day, so you have to make sure that your emails are comprehensive. They have so many different couples that they're tending to. And what I did, I actually took my friend Nicole had a Disney wedding as well. We were planning ours at the same time. She had made an inspo deck, like a PowerPoint, and so I did the same thing, and that's how you're able to convey what you expect and what you want from Disney's fairy tale weddings.
Was it hard to get the venues you were looking for? I mean, how competitive is that? Because I mean, I don't live in that world, but I live in the world where, every morning somebody's trying to get Ohana at 7 a.m. and, Cinderella's. And I know that you dined at Cinderella's Royal Table during this whole experience too. It's what I know how competitive certain things can be, but I don't know about weddings because they're such a premium experience. But I mean, the venues, there's only so many of those, and there's, only so many days in the year. Was that something that you ran into that's super competitive for brides?
No, actually, there are so many different venues that it was pretty easy. It's just when you have things in the park, like the ceremony, you're more worried about being granted permission from the president of the park more than another bride or a groom wanting that location.
Cool. So is there anything that surprised you or that was, interesting in the pre-planning that you might throw out there for a bride and groom that are possibly looking at a Disney wedding coming up, that, because we're going to get into all the, arrival and the actual mechanics of everything that happened, but in the planning, is there something that you could throw a tip out there, something that folks could expect if they're going to go through a Disney wedding here in the future?
My tip would be to be patient with communication. When we are in the thick of wedding planning, we can get very stressed. So if you're patient with the communication, then it'll make things a lot easier because you won't feel so stressed. Like, they just have so many different couples, they can't talk to you every day. So that would be my biggest tip. And to make a PowerPoint of what you want your experience to be like.
Nice. So have a plan and all that. Yeah, I love it. Okay, so now let's get into this is where I'm really excited, because your wedding took place over the summer of 22. So it took place a little bit ago, but we wanted to talk about this leading up to Valentine's Day. You were down there. You guys, so you went late July. So kind of give us the nuts and bolts where you stayed and kind of, how you got down there and kind of how this whole, I don't want to call it a vacation because it wasn't a vacation, it was your wedding, but how this whole trip kind of unfolded sequentially, and we'll just break it down from there. So, but I mean, you guys, I'm jealous of where you stayed because I stayed at the Grand last summer, but just I thought I was balling because I had a Lagoon View room, but I mean, you guys did it right. I'm so excited. Go ahead.
So I flew in and took the Mir shuttle on the 24th. So I had that Sunday on my own. And we had a lot of points built up from the previous 2 years because we had to keep postponing our wedding from 2020.
Yeah, again, that was at that time of the, we're in 2024 now, but I mean, it wasn't that long ago that, because we're going to hear that the big C kind of crept up into this whole story here. But yeah, where the parks were closed, people were banking those DVC points, and it was still a mess back then. So I'm sorry, go ahead. But I mean, it seems kind of far off, but still, we weren't that far removed.
Yeah. It was like almost like yesterday, and I was supposed to go on the Disney Wish with my matron of honor, but I got COVID, so I had to cancel.
That was the big C I was mentioning, but yeah, there we are. Yeah, back then, man. I mean, the ships were sailing, but I mean, that was just because again, people were scared to death because you had to take so many tests right before you got on the boat, and I mean, now we're living in there. You can just go cruising again. It's nice, but yeah, oh my gosh. Nightmare. So real quick, how did you find out about that? Like last minute, or what was that, like a nightmare?
I started to feel sick a few days before I was supposed to leave. So I took a test and it was positive. Disney Cruise Line reimbursed us. But it was really, really sad because it was supposed to be the second voyage, like the second trip of the Disney Wish. And it was supposed to be a really nice time for my matron of honor and I, because she was actually my boss at my first school that I worked at. And we became best friends. But it's, things just work out the way they do. So I flew into the Grand Floridian. We had a 2-bedroom villa on the DVC points. And then on Monday, my matron of honor flew in, and we had a pool day. And then we went to the Wave Lounge because that was still open. Then to Top of the World for more drinks. And we watched the fireworks. So it was a really nice day to have together. I also had a hair and makeup trial because brides, you do want to have a hair and makeup trial.
You have to see, I used to work as a wedding DJ for years and years. I do know how the wedding kind of stuff works. So a little bit, but yeah, I know you got to do the trials, right? And that's true. But I mean, it sounds like your pool day was almost like a cruise day. I mean, it's just cruise days you can get on land. You went to you went to a bar, you had a pool day and your spa day basically. So yeah. I like that. Nice.
It was very, very relaxing. And we use one of the main beauticians that Disney uses for their marketing campaigns called Beauty Special. I'm probably not saying it right, but they are excellent. I mean, they work for Disney, so
sounds good to me because I would never know. So you could, whatever you say is gonna fly right with me. All right. So now the next day surprised me though, because you go to Hollywood Studios, man. You guys you chill there to kind of kick it off, but I mean, take it up a notch and go over to the studios, and looks like you had some fun over there.
We did, and we went to 50s prime time, and it was a lot of fun. My friend was pregnant, so they made a joke about whether or not it was like in wedlock.
Okay.
I forget what the joke was, but we went with it. She had the PB&J milkshake, and it was missing the jelly, so for those who are looking forward to trying it, make sure you ask for the jelly with the PB&J milkshake.
She got a PB and nothing shake.
Yeah, PB and nothing.
I'll go for that tonight even because I love that sucker. But yeah, throw a little jelly in there too. Oh my gosh, that's a good place. So it also says though you're going to hop to Epcot. This cracks me up. Going to hop to Epcot, but went to the spa instead. I mean, there's many days where that is very much a better choice than hopping. Epcot's great. Don't get me wrong. Epcot's awesome. But hopping to the spa in July, you made the right call. And I wasn't even there. I'm just saying, you made the right call. I'm thinking.
Well, it was raining, so I didn't want to go out in the rain and possibly get sick. So I was like, "Do you want to go to the spa instead?" And my friend said, "Sure, let's go." And the cast member at the front desk, she was able to work magic. So I couldn't get in touch with the spa, but she was able to call, and they had an opening within like 15 minutes, and we were able to just go and have fun.
So you went to Senses back at the Grand Floridian? Is that where you went?
Yes.
Yeah. So I went there once. My wife got me like a Swedish massage or something after my first marathon in 2015 there at Senses at the Grand. Again, fish out of water in that place because they give you the robe and the slippers and all this, and they tell you to wait in the like holding room that's all fancy and give you a magazine, and then I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just here for like a massage, and I fell asleep as soon as they started giving me a massage because I was exhausted because I ran so far the day before. But hey, it's fancy, it's fun. I mean, everybody should try it once. I'd do it again. It was great. But I'm glad that's a great call, especially if it was raining. All right. Now, the next day, though, it looks like you guys, I love how you call it this Bridesmaids Day at Magic Kingdom. So, it just sounds like, okay, now we're getting things rolling, right? Is this kind of what you got going on here?
Yeah. A couple of my bridesmaids couldn't make it in the morning because there were a lot of flight delays, the revenge travel and all the flight issues. So, just my matron of honor and I at Cinderella's royal table, and we somehow got the best table. It was by the glass window overlooking the carousel. So that was wonderful. We went to the Festival of Fantasy parade after a couple of rides and meet and greets. And then we went back for the pool. My sister flew in. She just got there when we were going to the pool, and we all just hung out and had fun at the pool. One of my bridesmaids, she wanted to go to Hollywood Studios with the groomsmen. She really wanted to go on Millennium Falcon. So whatever. But we all met at the pool.
You just bailed and went over to the studios?
Yeah, I was like, do you? It's fine. But she made it to the capture your moment photo session that we had. So we got cleaned up and it was a lot of fun. It was really hot, but we had a great time at the capture your moment session. I highly recommend it for bridal parties. We had
a capture your moment session at getting metal pictures at Disneyland this past weekend, but we talk about that on Friday's show.
I saw that. Congratulations again.
It wasn't, no, we didn't do one. It was 7 ladies. They just took the photographer over. It wasn't, they don't have it at Disneyland. They just took over the photographer for an hour, while everybody else stood in line. Well, they changed outfits 3 times in line. I'm still not over that. I need to get over it. Mike, build a bridge, get over it. But it was shocking. Everybody had to wait. It took me 3 minutes to get my pictures taken. These ladies took an hour. Anyway. So now, so this day though, I just gotta. So you have bullet points here in the notes that you gave me, which I really appreciate. It kind of helps these conversations. But for this Bridesmaids Day, I mean, again, recapping: breakfast at Cinderella's royal table. Took a quick break back at the pool. Capture your moment with your bridesmaids, so you have these memories forever of this day with your friends and your bridesmaids. Then it looks like you guys did Be Our Guest for dinner, dessert party, resort, extra hours for the deluxe guests. I mean, what a day. I mean, I'm looking at this and I mean, again, what a day. And as a Disney fan, as somebody who really kind of gets the magic of Walt Disney World and Disney in general, did you kind of on this day, like understand that you're kind of living the ultimate Disney day? Like because sometimes it's really hard to realize it in the moment. But like when I see these things, like that's kind of the ideal, almost like Disney dream day right there. I mean, you're doing kind of the best of the best.
I kind of didn't realize it until we went to the East Plaza Garden for the fireworks. And I saw how my girlfriends were just in awe, and my sister were in awe of the fireworks. And I actually have it on video because I've seen Enchantment. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to get their reactions on video, and I was recording, and my sister, she loves seeing Tinkerbell fly by because she was a big Tinkerbell fan. And she came over to show me, and I was like, obviously I know, but you're going to pretend as an older sister, like, yeah. So that when I saw their reactions, that's when I realized it was like the ultimate Magic Kingdom day.
How big of Disney fans was your bridal party? Were they like kind of all over the place? Some were just noobs and some were as into it as you, or how did they kind of fall?
So there were some noobs. My friend Christina, my matron of honor, she's really into Disney. She loves going to Disney World. She would go for her anniversary with her husband too. So she was really into it. But there were things that she didn't know that I was able to show her. So we were, fan geeking out. And my sister was just, she went to Disney once, but it was with our family and she couldn't really do what she wanted to do. So we were able to do things she wanted to do, like have a dessert party and whatnot. So she's becoming a bit more of a Disney fan. She's looking forward to having kids so that she can go as well. And the noobs, they want to go back. My friend Paul is like, when are we going? When are you booking your next trip? And I said, August 2025.
Well, see, I can see where you're going to win over even the first timers because they're going to think every Walt Disney World trip's like this one. You know what I'm saying? Because like if I went and it was say my first or second trip to Walt Disney World and I ate at Cinderella's Royal Table and I did a capture your moment session and I had dinner at Be Our Guest and had a dessert party and prime spot for fireworks. I mean, that's not how it always goes. You know what I'm saying?
No,
Like the expectation of every vacation. It's like I tell my daughter, sometimes we do special things every once in a while, but I always tell her, don't get used to this because this is not how it's going to always be. Like this is a special moment. Enjoy it. It's great. We've saved up for this, but it's kind of like, every once in a while we'll stay like one night at the end of a trip at a deluxe, like for one night. But don't enjoy it. Like we're gonna be at Yacht Club because I got a great deal for one night on a discount. So enjoy Stormalong Bay, but don't think you're not going to be back at Pop Century next summer because that's where we are. It's one of those things like. So that's kind of funny though that the noobs would be like, hey, this is awesome. But I mean, I think that's what I love about Walt Disney World. You can have just as much fun at Pop Century as you can. Yacht Club, Grand Floridian, Animal Kingdom Lodge. It is what you make it, and it's always fun.
I agree. And my friend Paula was her first time. I told her that I planned all these special things, and I treated my bridesmaids to the meals and to the fireworks to thank them. And I told like this is just special event, but she loves how the theming of Magic Kingdom is. And when she went to Be Our Guest with the ballroom, she was just in awe. So she's like, even if we don't do those cool, like those really cool things, she's excited to just be back in Magic Kingdom and see all the theming with the rides and stuff.
Yeah, so she'll have a blast.
Yeah.
Okay, the next day, wedding rehearsal day. So how does this day unfold? Is it just tell us about it because I have no idea. So wedding rehearsal day on the 28th.
So you typically have one person from the team from the Department of Disney's Fairy Tale Weddings conducting your rehearsal. Sorry, I blanked out. And the wedding pavilion, we didn't want that to be our venue because we're not a very traditional couple. And it wound up being our rehearsal venue, which was amazing because I still wanted to have that as part of our experience. So it was free somehow, and we had our rehearsal there. It was a lot of fun. I know that our cast member did this. When you practice kissing at the altar, you have to count 3 of your favorite Disney character or Disney movie. So we had to say 1 Little Mermaid, 2 Little Mermaid, 3 Little Mermaid, and everyone got a kick out of it. So it was like really a fun way of rehearsing, the day or like the ceremony.
That's so fun. So now, I mean, is it an exact walkthrough of the ceremony the next day? I mean, because I've been married 17 years. I can't remember. I mean, because we did a rehearsal, obviously. We got married outside under a big oak tree. In our, just in the neighborhood where my wife and I grew up here in suburbs of St. Louis. So it wasn't super fancy, but it was special to us. And I remember the ceremony, the practice though, because then we went to the restaurant in San Jose called the Spaghetti Factory with all the families. But I don't remember that it was like a full walkthrough. It was, I just remember like it was so brief. Like it was like, okay, you're going to do the rings, you're going to do this. Like it was just like the pastor was just like giving us like, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. And I was like, I'm like you, right? I was an educator. Like, I'm like, no. But I mean, I wanted like practice, like with my students, like if you want to learn if I want to teach a procedure to my kids, we do the procedure 5 times. Like if you want them to stand in, I taught 6th grade, right? If you want them to be great at walking in line, without talk, you model, you practice. This guy was just like, all right, here's where the ring's going to be. You go, boom, boom, you give the ring. I'm like, oh, whoa. Like who's giving, the best man's got it, but how does he hand it to me? I was like, bam. And we were at the Spaghetti Factory. Like, I was like, holy cow, I'm going to be like lost when the wedding comes, look like a fool, but it all happens. We're married. I mean, boom, it worked. But I mean, I'd imagine Disney's a little bit more thorough, right? Because I mean, this is more of a, you got so much invested. It's such a formal experience. I mean, did you bottom line, I mean, I was kind of rambling here, but did you feel comfortable by the end of the walkthrough, the rehearsal, that you were confident going into your wedding day the next day that everything, all the I's are dotted, T's are crossed, everything's ready to go?
Oh, definitely. So we didn't go through the ceremony readings and whatnot, we just went through who was going to, like, the procession and the recession, like who is going down the aisle when, how you're standing. And we did that a few times. We did practice it because I wanted to make sure everyone knew when they were going and whatnot. As a
Like
teacher,
who's like, yeah, who's going to be matched up and everybody. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
and Melissa was the cast member. She was great. She showed me how to hold the bouquet. Like, she modeled it, like
Yeah.
a teacher. She was able to diffuse any family drama that could have happened. My mother-in-law needed someone to walk her down the aisle, and and Melissa, the cast member, she was able to think on her feet, and she like pulled my brother-in-law in. She's like, "Hey, do you want to walk our mother-in-law down the aisle?" And it worked out, and she made notes. It was great. It was really thorough. And it was brief. Like, she was really on point as she could be, corralling however many people.
That's awesome. So then here's what I love, because I mean, we did our dinner at the place here. So you guys went to Hoop-Dee-Doo. How rocking is that? I mean, because I'm a huge fan of Hoop-Dee-Doo. Not only do they have my kind of food, like I'm simple man in the Midwest, right? Chicken, strawberry shortcake, all the fixins, good stuff. But it's got a hokey kind of fun show. Like, it's just a blast. And apparently you got to be a part of the show. And I mean, did everybody just have a blast? Because it's like, after that, even though the wedding's the next day, once the rehearsal happens, it's kind of like a pre-part. It's a weird time for like the wedding party, because I mean, you got the wedding coming up the next day, but everybody's kind of, the rehearsals behind you. It's like a kind of like a sandwich there time, but everybody's having a good time. How was that rehearsal dinner?
So I decided on Hoop-Dee-Doo review because a lot of people didn't know each other, and it could be awkward if you have just like a formal event. And I figured, why not give them another experience? And everyone still raves about it. My husband and I approached him with the idea. He said it's a great idea. We booked it. That was a little scary because I had to book 17 people.
Yeah, no kidding.
And I was short one person when I was making the reservations, but they were very accommodating when we went and said we had one more person. And everyone just had a blast. And I was wearing I actually got a wedding dress on sale from Kleinfeld. So I wore as my wedding rehearsal dress, which, brides, if you have a dress that has a train and your regular wedding dress has a train, wear it to your wedding rehearsal, because they will show your bridal party how to fan out the train and whatnot. So that was something that my bridesmaids were able to practice at the wedding rehearsal. So it worked out. And I guess they saw that I was like in white, so they selected me to go on stage, and I was one of the can-can dancers.
I love it. I love it. The bride up there being a can-can dancer the night before your wedding, right there in Pioneer Hall. That's great.
It was a lot of fun. And like, I forgot to like put the dress down. Not that you saw anything, but I forgot to put the dress down to do the can-can, and they were like, you can put that down now.
I wish I had the music, the do 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 do. It reminds me of the old video game I used to play called Tapper. They used to play that music, and the girls would come out when you screwed up or something. I don't know. That's so funny. I love it. That's a great idea though, to get everybody kind of socialized, because it's just it's a loud atmosphere. You're encouraged to just, you don't have to be quiet. You can talk. You're sitting around. You're kind of family style, sharing food. That great idea. But it's way better than like a Victorian Alberts, super formal and stiff. I like that.
Yeah. It was a way to like break the ice for people, and I really am happy that people were open to it and that they really enjoyed it. Like I said, people are still talking about it. My father-in-law, he raves about Disney's Fairy Tale Weddings and the wedding rehearsal dinner to everyone. He like highly recommends it to whoever he talks to.
That's a winner right there. All right, so we've been leading up this whole time to wedding day, and it is the wedding day. So tell us how this day unfolds, because we haven't even talked about the venue yet. We kind of beat around the bush here with it. We haven't said it, but you had the ultimate venue for your wedding. So please do share about your wedding day. How cool was this?
So my ceremony was at Magic Kingdom, specifically the East Garden Plaza. You can get married at the train station, by the East Plaza Garden booked. And I worked very hard to save up for the carriage. So I had the Cinderella's carriage as well. I scored a lot of Regent state exams and saved up.
I love it, because that makes you appreciate it more, right? When you do that extra work to have a special experience like that. I love that.
Yeah, working from like 9 in the morning to 9 at night. It was worth it.
Man.
So I was able to take pictures with the carriage, but I didn't want to see my husband yet, so I couldn't take pictures with him until after the ceremony, but when we were both in the coach, but that's fine. At least I got my pictures. No, I'm kidding.
Well, no, like, you know, we got married on what used to be a plantation, like that's with the big oak trees and stuff in our in our town. And Mallory, Pam, my wife. I'm just yelling at Mallory because she's just got her driver's license. I've been like Mallory for like the last 2 days since I've been home from Disneyland. Pam came in on a horse-drawn carriage. It wasn't Cinderella's carriage, but it was a horse-drawn carriage. It was kind of the same thing, right? I couldn't see her before the reception, so she got to ride the dang thing like all throughout this whole plantation to the, you know, they dropped her off at the altar with this beautiful like white horse, you know, and her dad and her got to ride the cool carriage. And I just had to walk in from the old, you know, house down the steps to the altar and just meet her. You know, I was already waiting there when she came over the hill and, you know, with the horse. Now I did get to ride the horse on the way out. Like he waited. And then when it was time to leave, I got to ride because I told her, I said, I want to at least ride it one way. I mean, you get to ride it the whole time. Like that thing's cool. I said, I want to ride that sucker. So I got to ride it a little bit, but yeah, but I mean, how cool was that? I mean, Cinderella's coach, because that thing's so cool. Like when they have special events, they take it out and people like stand in line for like 30 minutes to get their pictures taken with it.
Yeah, it's actually funny. When we were at the pool on the bridesmaids' day, I saw the carriage at the Grand Floridian, and it was not too far from the pool. And I stood up and I pointed. I was like, "Oh my god!" And everyone's like, "What?" It's like the carriage. They're like, "Why are you?"
Every time I see it now, I'll be like, "Robin, that's Robin's carriage."
I'm just renting it out to Cinderella.
That's right. That's right. Oh man. How's the wedding go? I mean, you're at the Magic Kingdom. Like, so is it early in the morning, or how's this go?
Well, we had to get up really early for hair and makeup at 2:30.
That sounds like a race.
Yeah, if I was able to do that, I think I can run we'll have to train for the marathon, but I think I can get up early for a marathon, which I'm hoping to do in the future.
You will.
But so usually they have the carriage by the Diamond Horseshoe, but I was surprised they had the carriage go down to Main Street. So I was able to ride it down Main Street before all the guests came in. And I was waving to cast members who like came out of the shops to like wave at me as I was going to the entrance of Main Street. And the guests came in on trolleys. So that was an experience for them. They were able to ride down Main Street in trolleys to the location.
No way. How awesome. It's like a movie. This is crazy. That's awesome.
I mean, honestly, like it sounds so cliche, but it really does feel like a fairy tale with my husband. Like I'm from a very humble background, and according to his family history, he's a descendant from King Hywel from Scotland or Wales. So, you know, it kind of fits fits the bill.
Yeah. But I mean, it's I love that you are very humble about it and appreciative of it. You know, like you get the magic of all this unfolding. Like it happened to somebody that really appreciates it all. That's what I love hearing in your story here. It makes me super happy to hear it. So, okay. So tell us about the actual ceremony, the vows and all that stuff. I mean, everybody's there. You get, I mean, how was it when you guys saw each other for the first time? I mean, magical. I mean, I imagine that's just wild.
Definitely magical. When I was going down Main Street to the ceremony, I saw my groom, but I was trying not to look at him because I didn't want to see me, because I wanted to wait till the altar.
Yeah, right.
But apparently he saw me and he was tearing up.
Oh yeah.
Because he was like, and he told me why. He said that, you know, after everything I've been through, he's like, you really wanted a princess moment and you got the princess moment. He was like so happy that I was able to like have that moment after everything that I've, you know, gotten through to get to this point. So he was crying like tears of joy, and he was just really happy for me as I was like waving to people and stuff. So I get there and I go down the aisle to him. We have our ceremony. It's blazing hot, and I'm starting to feel bad for people because it was a black tie event.
Mm-hmm.
So people are dying in their tuxedos, and I'm like, I want to relish the moment, but I feel bad that people are sweating.
Well, let me just tell you, two of our listeners got married on the boardwalk in July, and I was in the wedding party. I was a groomsman in a tuxedo in July, so I know it was at Seabreeze Point. Shout out Jay and Melissa. What's up? They have two beautiful girls now, and I love them. They're my friends. They live right behind the Magic Kingdom right now. They hear the fireworks every night. They're right there. They're awesome. But I was in their wedding, so was Ricky, and I almost died because I remember putting that tux on. I was staying at Riverside and making my way over to the boardwalk. I was like, oh my God, why are we getting married outside in July?
What time was the wedding? What time was the wedding?
It was in the morning. Because then we had the podcast. We did it in July because they went on the podcast cruise for their honeymoon. So that's how we all partied that way. And of course, I scheduled a podcast cruise in the summer, because my wife's a teacher and I was a teacher back then. It's the only time we could go. So it was all my fault in the end. But yeah, it was one of those things. When you said that, I was like, oh, I know. Because man, I just remember like, oh, because I like that tux was just so hot. And I'm like, I whine about the heat in t-shirt and shorts down here in July, and I'm standing here at Seabreeze Point on the boardwalk in a full tuxedo. Like this is gonna kill me. But we made it. I mean, we rushed into Ariel's for the reception right afterwards.
Yeah, everyone made it, but one of my bridesmaids almost passed out because she had a Red Bull and coffee but no water that morning. Oh and they have a water station at your ceremony, so if someone is gonna pass out, you'll be fine. And Melissa, who was at the rehearsal the day before, she brought water to my bridesmaid so she wouldn't pass out at the altar.
She must see it happen occasionally. It sounds like this is something that is not uncommon.
Yeah.
This might be going. Water, cool towel, water. We need it. Oh my God, that's crazy.
Make sure you hydrate. That's what I have to tell people too. Like, you have to hydrate. I was smart about not that my bridesmaids aren't smart, but I knew what was going to happen, like anticipating the heat.
You're proactive.
So I was drinking a lot of water, and I got to pass that advice on to everyone else.
Yeah, you don't want to wake up and be like, "Am I married?"
Did you put the ring on?
Yeah, exactly. Like, you waited all this time for this magical. I mean, you're getting married in the Magic Kingdom for the love of God, and you pass out. I mean, that'd be my luck, right? Like, oh my God, this is like this is gonna be the most amazing day of my life. Boom, pass out from the heat. That'd be my luck. So just real quick before we move on to the reception, which was amazing. It looks like too, because I've been in the spot where you had your reception, and I love my favorite places. And if people have never been in there, if you're a Disney fan, it is I geek out every time I've been in here a few times. But the ceremony, before we move away from that, anything like that you want to leave us with? Because I mean, who else is going? Very, very, very few people are ever going to get to attend a wedding in the Magic Kingdom, or obviously be a part of a wedding party in the Magic Kingdom. So anything else to share from your wedding ceremony? Because I just think that is just so amazing.
A couple of things. If you have the carriage, try to bring something to cool you down that you can have a cast member hold. So Nancy, she was my attendant for the Cinderella carriage. She got me napkins, and so did other cast members, because I was sweating. It's a greenhouse, the carriage. Like, it
kind of looks like one. I mean, when you think about it, it's like glass or plexiglass or something. I don't know what it's. I've never been that close to it, but it looks like it.
Not real glass. I tapped it. Yeah. And we were in shade, and I was just dying. I had a big dress, tight bodice, big poofy ball gown, and my hair was down on my neck, and I was dying. So try to plan ahead, see if you can bring like cooling packs or something with you, and then ask them to hold on to it, and they'll throw it out for you. So that's a really big tip, aside from hydrating before the ceremony. And when you are there, just do your best to stay present. Like, you can look at your guests, but stare at your significant other, because it goes by so fast. You don't want to miss a moment of it. And it was really nice to have the carriage ride with my husband after the ceremony, and then we came back for pictures. And one more thing, I was worried about having guests there, because the ceremony started at 8, and guests are allowed to come in around 8 o'clock. But having the guests there kind of made the experience more special, because it's like more people witnessing your ceremony. Yeah. And someone actually recorded the whole ceremony and posted on YouTube.
Really? See, I mean, that's cool, because I mean, they're probably like, check this out. Yeah. I mean, I can see why they would do it, because how cool would it be to see that just as a bystander? And I mean, I would imagine too, just kind of having guests there, it kind of enhances the experience, right? As long as they're not getting in the way or, causing any kind of chaos or being rude or being loud or anything. Like, I mean, it's like I get I mean, this has nothing to do with the wedding, but it's kind of tangentially related. But when we run through the parks during our races and the parks are open as opposed to closed, there's like an energy in the park when we come through Epcot at the end of the marathon and the park's open and just random people, just kind of say, hey, they're like, they cheer you on, just some random stranger, just like they're watching you and they think, hey, that's pretty cool. There's runners coming through here. I'm sure, some little girl looking up to see a bride, getting married in the Magic Kingdom. They're thinking, man, there's a real princess in the Magic Kingdom today. I mean, that's gotta be cool for you. That's gotta be excellent.
That you hit the nail on the head, and that's when my husband started tearing up because he saw me wave to a little girl and he was thinking like that little girl is going to be inspired by my wife to have that moment. And he's like, you're going to inspire another little girl that was in your shoes to have that kind of moment. And also like sorry, I keep going on, but another tip, if you do get married in a park and they're a guest, go on the different Facebook pages and ask if anyone has pictures, because I did. And people had so many candid pictures of me like going down Main Street or of the wedding, of my bridesmaids. And you'll be surprised how many people take pictures that you can now save and have those memories, like from an outside perspective.
That's super cool because because you get all different kinds of perspectives on your own. It's like a journalist coverage of, because we paid extra for a second photographer to do like a photojournalistic like take on our wedding because we had the traditional photographer. It was Ricky's family. It was her company because her family did that. But we had a second photographer taking them like a journalist would, of Pam getting ready and everything. But I mean, yeah, exactly. And today's day, I mean, we're so old, like, iPhones weren't that popular back then. But now everybody, especially if you're at the Magic Kingdom, everybody's taking pictures of everything. You're right. What a great idea. I bet you got some great shots.
Man. Yeah, and some videos. It was really nice to see it from other people's perspectives.
Cool. So let's talk about your reception. You guys headed over to Epcot and you went to the Living Seas Salon. Man, this place I just love because it screams like it's still kind of 1980s. I mean, it feels like original Epcot, and that's kind of one of the things I love. It's got the piano in there. It's got the fish tanks. If you've never been in there, every Disney fan should be able to work their way in there somehow. I love this place.
I agree. The piano is beautiful. My husband picked the reception. Because we wanted people to be entertained, and the aquarium is entertaining in and of itself. And we didn't need anything else really. Like I thought we needed a photo booth or whatever. No, people were just gazing at the aquarium and they were so like enchanted by it. I'm so happy we chose the Living Seas reception salon for the reception.
And you had Scuba Mickey come, like he was in the tank and came and would he knock on the glass or something? Waved at you? Because you just put Scuba Mickey. So how do you drop in?
So you're given the rundown of the reception. Like you have the rundown in writing, from your wedding planner, and then the day of they let you know when Scuba Mickey's about to come in, and the DJ will announce it. So Scuba Mickey swam over to us with a sign saying "Congratulations, Liam and Robin." Cool. And we wanted Scuba Mickey because he's so unique. You're not going to see him at any other venue. Like as much as I wanted Mickey and Minnie to dance with us, and it would have been more affordable than Scuba Mickey, because Scuba Mickey was more expensive than Minnie and Mickey. It was worth it. And everyone turned into a kid. Like people were so excited to see Scuba Mickey, and people were taking pictures. It was one of the best parts of the reception, other than the cake.
I can see why Scuba Mickey probably has more of a premium, because he's got probably a more specific skill set to do what he does. And I mean,
yeah,
that's pretty awesome. I mean, Scuba Mickey, I mean, that's not just Mickey, that's Scuba's. He's scuba. I mean, popping out and boom, 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 and sign, and it's like a Full House. That's so cool. I mean, that's something people will never ever forget, is Scuba Mickey showing up. I mean, that's just that's something you'll, like you said, I mean, you see, Mickey and Minnie and all the theme parks on your vacation. I've never seen Scuba Mickey, and I've been to Walt Disney World so many times, and I've still never ever seen Scuba Mickey except in like commercials. How cool.
Yeah, he pops up in the aquarium here and there, like at the Seas Pavilion, but I think there are specific times.
Yeah.
But you have to go those specific times to see him.
I haven't seen them yet. I'm bad timing, I guess. Okay, so you guys had a dessert party as well for your reception. So tell us about that.
So we did. I also want to mention we did get pixie dusted, where Disney wanted to gift us a ride. They let us go on the Finding Nemo ride.
Nice.
So they said, like you could just be you and your husband, the bridal party, or everyone. So we took everyone. And they stopped the ride. They let us all get on, and it was a really nice experience. It was like another magical moment for our guest.
You're right. Yeah, little Nemo. I hope you found him.
I didn't find him. I was just still like on a high.
No, seriously. I mean, that's like at that point.
I was not looking for
you
Nemo.
just had your wedding ceremony. You're at your reception. Now you're on Finding Nemo. That's the most wild experience. That had been the most wild ride you've ever taken in your life. Like, where am I?
Yeah. And so it ended at 2:30. We had everyone dropped off at the resorts, and then we took a cab back to to Epcot for a dessert party. Oh, I'm sorry I keep backtracking, but for the wedding rehearsal dinner, we took a minivan, like the Disney minivan through Lyft. And if you want to go to Hoopty, do a review, and you don't want to have to walk, take the minivan, because they'll drop you off right like 10 feet away from the restaurant. But anywho.
And that's for anybody, anytime. That's a huge tip. The minivans take you back to Pioneer Hall. If you don't want to be dropped off way out by where you got to take the internal bus, that's for everybody. Yeah, good tip.
Yeah, everyone else took a Lyft and they had to walk. And I was like, nope, I'm going to treat myself. I'm going to get the minivan. So I took a couple of my bridesmaids, my mother-in-law, and we had a grand time in the minivan. It was so worth it. But anyway, so my feet were killing me. And Wendy was our attendant who was going to meet all the guests, take us through the park to the dessert party location, Terrace de Fleur. And I kept saying my dress was heavy, my feet were killing me, and I wasn't trying to complain, but I was just saying it. She heard me, so she got me a wheelchair. And my husband was pushing me in the wheelchair throughout Epcot, and people were applauding us. So we're not sure if they were applauding us because they thought I was wheelchair bound or if it was because we got married. But
I don't want to say it's because you got married. I mean, you're your husband and wife, you're in your wedding dress, it's still it's your day.
I mean, Liam, my husband was hoping it was because he looked good wheeling someone.
Yeah, he's the hero. That's right.
Yeah, the hero. He's like, I look like the hero. I'm getting the attention. It's not just you.
That's true, because it is all about the bride on the wedding day. And he was just like, hey man, it's night. It's night, and I'm at least getting a little love finally in this day. I've been going since 2:30 this morning. Somebody just clapped, and I'm going to take a little credit finally. I did it. I'm with them. So how was the dessert party? Everybody had a good time mingling and seeing, I guess back then it was harmonious.
Yeah, it was. Everyone loved it. It was a great way to end the wedding day, even though it was long. People were just ecstatic. There was a lot of food. I wish we ate more, but I was just so tired that I wasn't as hungry. And it was nice to just mingle with my husband's side of the family, because there were people I didn't meet before, and I just didn't have time to really talk to them at the reception because I was busy on the dance floor. So it was nice to just catch up with people and talk and have the fireworks. Everyone was taking pictures, and it was just really magical. People were just ecstatic about it. And then we had great dessert. And we ended the night with a ride mix-in. So you can pay to have a ride mix-in if you have a reception or a dessert party in a park. And we wanted Remy's Ratatouille. And it just so happened that Liam's cousins couldn't get on the ride the day before. So this was the perfect way to end their Disney trip for them.
That's awesome. Because shoot, back then, Remy's was super hard to get on, period. Back, 15 months ago. That was crazy. So yeah, and you're right there for your dessert party too. Just right.
And no one knew about it except for me and my husband. So it was another surprise for the guest.
Nice. I'm thinking about it from a practical experience, right? It's an e-ticket attraction that just about everybody can enjoy. It's like an e-ticket attraction that's not going to make you sick or flip you upside down 7 times. It's a cutting edge e-ticket attraction that's family friendly.
And
So
everyone loved it. Everyone was so happy. They were so surprised by the attraction, and they really thought it was awesome. So I highly recommend it if you can do it.
cool. Well, hey, it didn't end here though. I mean, that was your wedding day, but you did a couple more days. Looks like the next day you had a dinner at Citrico's, one of Scotty G's favorite places. Man, he loves this place. They get married if he wasn't married to Elizabeth. And you have fireworks crews out there with your in-law, with Liam's dad. It looks like so. What a kind of was, I'd imagine what an experience there. Wow.
Yeah, it was wonderful. It was our way to thank his dad for gifting us the wedding. He loves fireworks, he loves good food, and he was blown away by it. He was really touched that we did that, and it was one of his favorite memories of the trip. There were a lot, but he said that was like one of his favorite.
I love it because I mean it's what a way it is because the best thing you can do is spend time with somebody and give them an experience, and that's sounds like what you did. And then it looks like the last day, July 31st, you guys you did a bridal portrait shoot at the Magic Kingdom and then had lunch back at the Grand Floridian Cafe with Liam's mom and a family friend. So tell us about that last day. You kind of, I'm sure you were kind of exhausted because of all the, I mean, so many emotions of the whole bridal experience. But I mean, Walt Disney World on a normal vacation wears you out, but you had, so much on your mind, so many, you're just going through the most intense emotions of your life and all this. And it was just, I'm sure you were drained by this last day. I mean, but how was it kind of wrapping everything up on this day?
We were exhausted. We slept most of those last 2 days.
I bet.
We pushed ourselves after we had lunch with his mom and a family friend to go get a nap, and then we went to the Enchanted Rose to kind of like end our trip together. So it was worth the sleep to get up and have that last hurrah. And we really wanted to see as many people as possible because people are coming from all over. My sister and her brother-in-law were coming from the Air Force Base in Honolulu. My father-in-law was coming from Singapore. My mother-in-law was coming from Texas. Like everyone really flew in from all parts of the world.
That's awesome. So in the bridal shoot, you just went over. So is it kind of like a better version of Capture Your Moment where you went around just different locations at the Magic Kingdom and took some shots? Did you wear casual outfits? Did you wear, I doubt you wore your wedding dress again or anything like that. What's that all about?
So we wore our wedding attire. They pick you up in a resort, and I wanted to have some pictures in the Grand Floridian, so we did have to cut it short a little bit at Magic Kingdom. We got pictures at night on Main Street. It was beautiful.
Wow.
And you pick a route. So you have 3 options or 3 routes, and each route has a couple of different attractions. So I picked the one with Beauty and the Beast and the Little Mermaid attractions to take pictures. And we took pictures at the castle, of course, and there was a campaign marketing shoot at the same time. So my photographer was trying to work with the campaign shoot so we can get more pictures, but it didn't work out that way. It's all right. We still got great pictures. But it really was surreal because you get taken backstage after so they can drive you back to your resort. It was a lot of fun. Like you really do feel like not a celebrity, but just feel so magical.
Yeah, you feel like a VIP there for the day.
Yeah, because you're the only ones on Main Street at that early in the morning when the sun is down.
Man, that is so cool. So, well, we're running way long, so we're gonna have to wrap. But I mean, this is just such a great way to kind of break the ice here on Valentine's Day season because it's coming upon us in here in a few weeks. I mean, this is we do Is This Romantic every every year here on the podcast. As a joke on one of the shows, and people submit their emails, and we need those. So send them in to Mike@BRGuestPodcast.com with your Is This Romantics, and we'll get those on the show here soon. But I mean, this is it. I mean, this blows everything out of the water we've ever talked about in almost 16 years of the podcast. This is the most romantic podcast we've ever had. But as we wrap up, it's been over a year now since your Disney fairy tale wedding. What still sticks with you? I mean, I'm sure you have those photos hanging in the house that, you walk past and I can't imagine what your photos look like, but I mean, what kind of sticks in your heart from this whole experience? What's the memory that you have that really sticks with you as we kind of close out the show?
we do have photos, and I wanted that to be my background, but my baby's toys are out in the living room, so that's
But then life is real.
life
Exactly.
is real. Life is not like Disney World. And my husband's like, "I don't think you want Luca to be making noise in the background."
I so live that every single minute of my life. Yeah.
But I'd be happy to share pictures, if anyone needs wedding inspo just to see. But what I remember the most is just seeing how everyone was just so happy in the moment, whether it's just for us or the location, just seeing that joy on people's faces and bringing everyone together for that moment really meant the world to me. But what I really do cherish is looking at my husband at the altar and just seeing the castle and realizing this is it. It was so surreal, and it happened. It's just, I don't know how to really put into words, and I'm just grateful every day. Every day I put my head down. I'm happy to be alive, and I'm happy that I was able to have that moment and live in a safe area. So
I love it. Great. Yeah, great gratefulness and appreciativeness. I love it. And I love that we got to share this story today, because hopefully, and I know it put smiles on people's faces as they're commuting to, maybe in your neck of the woods on a subway into work or school, or, driving in a pickup truck here in the Midwest into wherever they got to go to work, or going on a long run, walking the dog, doing the dishes, whatever you guys do when you listen to the podcast, we always appreciate it. But I mean, if this if this story doesn't kind of get you in the feels, I mean, and get your ticker check there, because something's going wrong there, because this is a great story. But Robin, I appreciate it so much, you taking the time, because I know, again, you have a young one there in the house and it's time is of the essence. But wow, thank you so much for inspiring us, and congratulations on the wedding just recently, and also your son, and just best wishes here in 2024. I appreciate you taking the time to come on the show.
I appreciate you having me, and thank you for being a great girl dad and cheering on your daughters. We need more girl dads like that.
Oh, that just means the world to me, because I love it. It's a blessing to be a girl dad. When I was 20, you always think you want to have that son, right? You want to be the quarterback of the football team. I wouldn't know what to do with a son. I had one at this point in my life. I'm good with the girls. I know how to raise daughters, and mom takes care of all the important stuff, and I'm just kind of there to cheer them on. So that's kind of how I take care of that. But you mentioned real quick, and I don't know if you have any like contacts or like social where you share anything for this. Do you want to put anything out there for our listeners as we're still live and on the podcast, where people might want to? Do you have like an Instagram or anything you want to share?
Oh yeah, my Instagram is Where's Batman, one word, because my name's Robin. So where's Batman, and I'll just send me a message of why you're following me. I just have it private because I'm a teacher and I don't want my students trolling me,
Trust me, I know.
So just tell me you were listening to the podcast, and I'd be happy to accept your friend request and follow you back. And yeah, I'd love to share more. And if I can be of any help for people who want to plan, please feel free to message me. I want to pay it forward. I want to spread the magic and help other people achieve what they're dreaming of in whatever capacity that is.
All right, rock on. We'll have a great week, and happy Valentine's Day early, and stay safe, and hope spring comes to you guys up in Queens soon. Let's get through this cold.
Thank you. You too. I'm looking forward to more of your podcast.
Thank you. All right, don't forget our show is brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to help you plan your next Disney adventure, whether it's the Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, Adventures by Disney. We are standing by this week, so check us out for no additional cost to you planning those trips over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link when you shop online. That one extra click supports everything we do. So please, when you shop online, use it as often as you can. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you to our Patreon supporters. You guys keep the lights on with this show, and it means the world to us. $5 a month is all it takes. And you get that bonus show every week. It's called Mike in the Midwest. So if you'd like to support us, please come on over. Patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. You can give me a follow on the social media, Instagram, Twitter, Threads. I'm in all the places. You can find me on Facebook as well. I'm at Be Our Guest Mike in all those locations. Mike Rollman on Facebook. So give me a follow over there. And of course, this Sunday night we'll be live and taking your calls. So if you want to be a part of the show, give us a yell. It'll be Scott joining me, and we'll be on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch at 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. It's the BOGP open line where you drive the show. So join us on Sunday night and give us a call. All right, time to jump out of here, and we will be back again on Wednesday with more of your listener questions. But until then, for Robin, I'm not Batman. I'm Mike. But I so many jokes I could make there. I was going to skip all the jokes. I was going to say, you got exactly. I was like, don't look good in the suit. There's so many things I could say. I'm just going to just move on and say, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. I was like, what can I say? Oh my gosh, your Instagram handle cracked me up. That's a great handle. That is a great handle.
I don't want to give it up.
No, I wouldn't either. When you said that, I almost lost it because I'm like, that's for somebody named Robin. That is the perfect Instagram handle.
I dressed as Robin for Halloween in school once, and my colleague a week later said it hit me at midnight when I was lying in bed. Like, oh, that's why she dressed up as Robin.
Oh my gosh, yes. That is perfect. Here, save this real quick. Let's see. Edited. I love it. We didn't have any edits. It's so awesome.
Sorry it went so long. I know there was just so much to.
No, it's just people are gonna eat this up. It's gonna be a great show. Everybody's gonna enjoy it, and it's perfect for the season. So it's a great show. Well, I'm gonna get this edited and up, so it'll be out Sunday night. Monday it'll be out on ready to rock. So Robin, take care and tell your husband I appreciate him taking over there for an hour.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too. I'll talk to you soon. If you need anything, give me a yell. All right. Bye-bye.